I'm here with David Carr. It is Tuesday, June 12th, and David Carr is been a park employee. He has skied these jumps here that we're in front of, and this is the 30mm ski jump here behind the Red House administration. Okay, and anyways, he's going to give you a little bit of history on this firsthand, which is fantastic. David, what the three slopes that you have done, you've jumped on the 30 and 50mm here?
Yes. Both.
Okay. And you used to work in Beauvais?
Yes.
Okay. And Big Basin you've also
Big
tried?
Basin also.
Very good. Well, you're saying the history of skiing started here in Western New York?
Absolutely. There was no Ellicottville or any other place when skiing started here in Allegany State Park. And it was really started by Art Roscoe, who was the park engineer at that time, back in the 30s. And the ski jumps were built partially with the assistance of, not the WPA, but yes, the WPA. And Karl Farner, F-A-H-N-E-R, was on the German Olympic jumping team in 1932, and he assisted Art in developing the design of both of these jumps, and they were two of the finest ski jumps in New York State, because anybody that used, especially the 50-meter, just bragged about how well it was done, and the outrun, and it was considered a very, very safe jump also.
Very good. And you were saying they didn't have lifts in those days. You had to walk back up.
That's correct. There was no lift to take us to the top. We had to walk. The skis at that time, the jumping skis, were 8 feet long. Each one weighed 8 pounds, so that was 16 pounds we had to carry to the top of the hill, which in all wasn't too bad because it kept our leg muscles in good shape. And there were no real steps. They were just boards with dirt put behind them. And especially the 50-meter jump, there were just snow steps going up on the in-run. The one year they had, this jumping was absolutely superb, the tournament, and it was mediocre warmth in the daytime, and then towards nighttime, late afternoon, it got a little icy, so they decided to allow us to take another jump. There always was 2 out of the best 3 jumps counted. This one wouldn't count, but they were going to try and let everybody set a record. There were a couple of bad spills, but at that time the official record was 163 feet, and I went 182 feet, but I fell, so that didn't count.
Very impressive. Either way. How'd you fare? Did you break anything?
Nope, I just spilled, that's all.
Yeah.
Also, in the competition, from the top of this hill, there's a downhill trail. It was called, I can't think of his name now, who it was named after. But it started at the top of the hill, and when you came down, you came out on the 30-meter outrun, and they had the finish gate set up down here. It was a very, very treacherous downhill, because there was a hairpin curve about halfway down, and a lot of guys, especially after the first 7 or 8 had been down, it kind of turned icy and ended up over in the woods. But,
yeah. Well, can I ask, sir? Now, this is a 30mm,
yes.
the lower of the two. Well,
yes.
We'll get to the 50, and you can see the old bridge abutments over here.
Yes.
So you would have to ski across Lower Red House Brook, which
yes,
is
where
the convergence of all the creeks that fill Red House Lake join into Lower Red House Brook here. And you said, I recall seeing many pictures of houses, and even in my youth seeing houses down here.
Yes.
And you said you used to live in one of those houses.
Yes, I did. My dad worked in the park. He was a mechanic over at the Quaker area. And as you're going out of the park, which is now called the service road, the first house was Florian Bessie Fuller. The next house was my Uncle Wilford Carr, and then the next house was our house, Leon and Helen and Jim and myself, and then the next house was Bill and Sarah Frank.
Wow.
later on, when the Fullers retired and moved away, Charlie Dock, who ran the restaurant, had that house. And the next house, my uncle was then living in Buffalo. Frank Knight lived in that one. I forget who moved into our house, the house we had. And the next one, Charlie Lapp, who was a patrolman here in the park, he and his family moved into that one.
Very good. Okay, sir, we're gonna conclude this clip and walk down to the 50 millimeter,
Okay.
okay? Thanks.